Hello. There's nobody in here right now. This is totally unexpected. That I wanted to do one last night, but everything ran really late. I just didn't really get time to get to the computer. Seeing as I'm under 1,000 subscribers, I have to do on the desktop. So until then, it's going to be right here in this grainy, poorly lit location. So if we can get a few people in here, I'll start a topic of discussion, and it would probably be about this junkyard that I visited last week, and then I did it again yesterday. And when I was actually heading out yesterday, I decided, yeah, I need to come back again. There's too much to get, too much to see, too much to discover, and basically, I'm just putting it off on you all day. Do you have a junkyard like that? I thought kind of that they was all gone, but this kind of brings it back to me. It puts it back into play. And with what I know now about certain parts and cars and the way things are, I want to keep going back about once a week and get something, whether it's something I use or something somebody else could use. I just don't want to see it go to waste. So, we got a couple people in there. There might be lurkers. That's cool. That's just my thoughts. I did take some more video yesterday. I'll probably integrate it into the steering box replacement on the van, on the 72 trade I don't know. It's like, and there was another section back in there that we found. Well, I didn't find, but I was directed to. And we had some cars back there that was quite useful. I went out of there with a handful of parts, and most of them came from that area. We'll just say that. Like, I don't even know where you begin in this place because a lot of it is rotted away. A lot of it is gone of everything. There's something there. And yesterday I was able to complete a lot of stuff that I was kind of dreading looking for on the van and on the duster. Little knick-knacky stuff. Some of it that you don't usually have missing, like on the duster. There was some stuff missing that when you pick up a car, it's usually not missing. And I realize I now have a source to pick it up. I can get it really cheap. And basically walk out of there with a handful of items that if you tried to dig around on the internet and find, it might cost you 10 times as much and 50 times as long to sort it out. Get it in the mail. Deal with it. So I'm really happy about it. It's like it's the moments like these is what gives you the words escape me, just the inspiration to go on and not in general, just to kind of go on in a different direction. Like, oh yes, it's here again. So Michael has joined us. We've got 5 people in here. If you all are here, you like speaking up, feel free to speak up. You're among friends. I understand if you're a lurker, you don't like to say much. It's cool. Another little thing is I've kind of had a goal. Now let me rewind this a little bit. I started this YouTube thing on January 1st of 2020. So we're right on the edge of a year. 363 days ago. And didn't know what I was getting into. I had a clue of what I wanted to do, and you all kind of you see that. Branding was important, so we have our logo, we have our look, certain things like that. And when you get on YouTube, if you try to make it a serious thing, it is something that there's certain guidelines and standards that you have to adhere to, so that when you come up to the point of review, you're clean. And a lot of it's just conduct. A lot of it is, how you use your music, if you use licensed music, or whatever, stuff like that. If it's licensed and you don't get a license for it, then they dock you, and you can't monetize that video if it ever comes to that point. Well, one of my goals with this channel is to figure, kind of have a plan and feel my way through it. And I've definitely been doing that. You might have noticed through the year. And there's a goal that you have to have on YouTube that YouTube sets for you. If you want to get monetization and get the ad revenue and all this sort of stuff, there is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. Okay. And once you attain that, it has to be within that 1 year rolling period. So whatever is 1 year behind you to the day, that is what matters to them. If it's before that, then it pretty much drops off. Now you can have videos before then, and if you start getting views on them, those count. But so it's the activity of your channel. So as I kind of was figuring out our subscribers, and we have a great group, like Mopar Nut 62 is with us. He's been with us from pretty much the start. Roadkill, he's always commenting. Lunar, Bigfoot, and Mopar's Tales from the Junkyard. And if I'm forgetting you right now, I apologize. Y'all have been really great, and I know we got a lot of people that watch. They just don't say anything, and that's cool. But as I progressed through the year and kind of figure where I realistically needed to be, my goal was to get at least half of both of those. So if you're supposed to have 1,000, I wanted to at least have 500. If you're supposed to have 4,000 watch hours, I wanted to get at least 2,000. Well, it's really crazy because we're over 500. We're almost at 600. But the watch hours, I think as of this morning, we're at 1,987. So I only need 13 more in the next 30 hours. So if we cross that line, it'll be a goal achieved on both fronts. Next year, the goal would be to have our 1,000. And I noticed the more you get, the harder it is to get more, and the more you lose. So, now the watch hours, I definitely have a lot of videos, so hopefully that'll help me. I don't know how many of you all watch the old stuff, but it's definitely there to be seen. But anyways, we could talk about that, the video direction that you all would like to see in the next year. If you like it the way it is, you want me to do something a little different, you like to see, is there a certain time period you want to see the Duster start getting into the action more often? My personal goal on it was to have the van where I can actually start it up and physically drive it in and out of the garage. That way you can bring the Duster around and then you can push it in and do some things. And then at some point we would have to make the Duster kind of a permanent resident in the garage until we got it to where it needed to be. Or we can go a different direction than that. We'll have to see. A lot of it with money, we're not all made of money. So you kind of make something happen that you can make. Yeah, and to me, really the only good part of 2020 was one, I had a baby boy this year back in September, same month my birthday is. And then I started this channel and met a lot of great people. We've had a lot of fun. I've done it pretty much every week. I've uploaded at least a video a week, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. So I have really enjoyed doing that. So there's 2 tips for this year. That's awesome. I appreciate it. That'd be awesome. I have a little stash of some model car, some cars themselves, but I also have a little bucket of like random parts that come. They give you the extra parts if you're doing a 2-in-1 build, like Krager wheels and stuff like that. And maybe we can do some giveaways to the model crowd. And That way it's not sitting in my storage, but it's actually being used for maybe somebody can use some of that stuff. So we could always incorporate all the different groups of people that like to follow the channel. The big thing is I just like to hear from people. I don't hear enough. I hear from a lot of you that really like what I'm doing, and that's great. But what's funny is the junkyard video. Now I started off the video talking about the junkyard, and this one I went to how much I'm just nuts about it right now. I think it's awesome. But you know, that is like a big thing on YouTube, is people doing junkyard videos, walking around. It is cool to see what's still out there. But what of all the videos I've posted, the funniest thing about that one is it has a lot of views. It's actually doing really good as far as people watching it. But that is the one video I've lost the most subscribers to, and it's like perplexing. It's like, what did they have? Because what they do is on each video they'll show you if somebody's unsubscribed to your channel while they are watching one of your videos, it'll tell you which one it is. And there was actually maybe about 5, but I think I gained 2. But there was a handful of people that I guess they just didn't want to see it, or they just had enough or something. And it was kind of funny. So whatever I would lose, I would gain or lose. So it's funny stuff. Yeah, what Mopar is saying about that model, the Super Clean, I have seen them remove paint on those with that. And I've seen them remove the chrome plating on some of them too. Which takes me back to one time when I had the 81 Camaro, it had the chrome headlight rings around it, and I wanted to do the black. Somebody said dip them in Super Clean for like a week or so, and because they was plastic with chrome plating on it, and it didn't do anything. But when I tried it on some little model car parts, it took it right off. So I don't know, maybe there's different levels of that vacuum chrome plating. The purple pool. Mm-hmm. If anybody's just stepping in, I know it's a random chat, which I should have done last night, but like I said, I couldn't really get around to it. It was a busy evening. A lot of the stuff that I dragged in, I was trying to get it set up, and then we had to go eat and all that other stuff. But I will say, I have the steering box out of that van. We took some extra tools to the yard. We took a battery-operated angle grinder, took the hammer, took a 7/8 socket, took an impact if we needed it, and I ended up using it on the steering column. But we got the box out. I had to cut the drag link because I was trying to pop the ball stud joint out of the pitman arm, but it kept hitting the frame. So I went ahead and just chopped it off about an inch from the ball stud and knocked it out then. That junkyard I was at, they actually, I noticed one yesterday. They had about an 88, 89, maybe even a 90 Dakota. A couple of them sitting there. I think it still had the grill and everything in it. What's the interchange on those? Is it 87 and up to like 97, or is it just the first couple of years? Doing a stealth. Wow. Actually, I got some neighbors about 3 doors down. They have a stealth, and they was driving it pretty regular, but it looks like it may have died on them here a while back, and they had it towed home, and I haven't seen it out since. So may have been catastrophic. I'm not sure. 87 through 90. I'll try to remember to look again when I'm up there. Might go next week. Our neighbor has an interest in going. I said I'll take him, take him out there. He wants to see some stuff for some Fords, so give me another excuse to go out there. I'll try to remember to look at it. I have to keep a list now. I notice. Kiffed on Night Rider 2000. Actually, I need to see about our watch hours, because I think that was last time I checked instead of this morning. They change it every sometime after midnight, I think. Let's see. Yeah, it was intact, so it wasn't a wreck. Makes you wonder. So as far as junkyards, I need to check out the other one again. It's been probably over 10 years. There's one about an hour from me, almost an hour, that is out in probably the most remote area of Indiana. And it's up in a hill, in the woods. And he lives up there, but he has traditionally had a lot of Mopar stuff. He used to have a lot of E-bodies, Challengers and Cudas. Had a lot of B-bodies, and was just out the wazoo with A-bodies. And they said he still has a lot of stuff up there, and I need to check him out again. I guess he's coming down on his prices a little bit because there's less and less people searching for that stuff. I guess the generation is starting to shift. So I might have to go out there and check it out. I thought he was high before. That's kind of why I wasn't. Before I was never real enthusiastic going out there because he knew what he had. Yeah, those are easy. I did wheel bearings on I had a 2000 Chrysler 300M up until about 3 years ago. And I had a wheel bearing on it go bad really quick. It just started grinding, and so I had to get the socket. I think it was like a 36 millimeter socket. And once you had that, it was easy from there. Okay, the channel. Wow, it's slow. Probably. Let's see. Monetization. Oh, we hit it. Awesome. You guys are awesome. Earlier I said we had about 1,987 watch hours for the year. We just hit 2004 and 581 subscribers. So we have cleared both goals. So I really appreciate y'all taking the time to watch my videos. Hopefully it's been of help. And if you hear anybody crying, that's my son. He's been very cranky today. Tales from the Junkyard. How you doing, buddy? About the junkyard. I thought really brought you to mind. I usually don't think of channels or anything when I'm out, but when I was looking at that Barracuda that was kind of cut up, I had just been looking at a satellite, and I thought of your dad's satellite. And this one looked like it was a really nice car at one time. It had all the trimming up along the side of the roof. And like if it was a put together car, I would like it the way it was, the color and trim and all that stuff. It looked tough, without being too swanky. But then, like when I walked away from that, I saw that Barracuda not far over there, and I was like, made me think of you. So. Michael, no, if you're a resident of Indiana, they call you a Hoosier. That's where the Hoosier tire came from. I think it's up in northern Indiana is where the tire started from. But if you are an Indiana resident, you are considered a Hoosier. Think of the Indiana Hoosiers, the university. Just fluff and pop? Well, some of them are. Sometimes I wonder if maybe you all think I am. Because I haven't really done much engine stuff. I mean, I do engine stuff, but I don't do anything that's really going to get people's attention, I guess. So, I'm a little more, I guess, jack of all trades type, master of none. But and by the way, Tails, I think I saw another one. I think there might be those Barracudas in that yard. Your car seems pretty well put together, but if there's something specific on it you need and you can't find, let me know, and I'll take a look and see if it happens to be in there. I know certain cars can have certain things. I could probably get it pretty reasonable. It seems pretty good for the most part. I asked him about the Dana 60 rear end that was in the van, the blue van that I pulled the steering box from. So how much would you want for that? And he was like, well, I'll take $300 for that. So I would think with the other stuff he had, that was kind of high, but I'm not sure. Let me check on my son real quick. So this little guy is upset. This guy right here is upset. And his daddy keeps hearing him fussing in the other room. We need quiet. We're talking about cars. We're talking about cars. What you want to talk about cars? He likes going for rides in the car. I think he's just tired. Say hi to everybody. There's at least 7 people watching you right now. Say hi. What do you think? You got to dance around? I'll take a look at the fenders, Tails. I would imagine the bottom legs of them are probably rotten, but that one Barracuda, I think it was actually setting off the ground, so I do remember it had a fender on the driver's side. So I'll take a look. And then the other one, I think it had both fenders on it too. So I know they also had some Valiants, four-door Valiants, and I think the fenders are the same on those. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, right here. The Mini Me. The Mini Me. Well, at least you're calmed down now. I don't hear you screaming in there. I was wanting to do the video a little later. I don't know, I was kind of anxious. Yeah, he was born in September. So he is just over, he's about 3.5 months old. He's got strong legs. We're working on his neck, trying to get him to. He's doing a lot better. He wasn't doing this. He would let his head fall down. And I've been doing this and zooming him around, and he's held his head up a lot better. But he's got real strong legs, that's for sure. So he'll probably drive a clutch when he's older. His dad doesn't like clutch cars much, but he might like stick cars. But it'll be fun when he's old enough to toddle around and he can come out to the garage and help Dad with videos, right? Yeah, something like that. So we'll see. You gonna behave? You gonna behave now? Yeah. Yeah, I keep looking at him thinking, well, he'll get bigger and then this will be gone. So I'm trying to take in as much of it as I can. All right, I will. I'll put that on my list. So I remember seeing a Valiant yesterday, a four-door Valiant, and it was up towards the front of the yard. Now you remember it was very hilly, very in the wood. Some of that stuff would be hard to get out. If you tried to drag it out, you would. I don't know. Some of it's been there so long, but that one was down there. I think right down the hill, and I think it was white, and I don't think it was stuck in the ground either. So it might have some good stuff. Are you in California, Tails? Seems like I remember you're out west. Yeah, it doesn't seem like this guy is 3.5 months. He's grown up quite a bit in that amount. That's what I thought, California. Well, if I can get them cheap, if they're good, I'll check them out. If they're good, we'll work something out on shipping. Well, yeah, the thing is, they're slowly going away, which is sad. And I can't remember who I was talking. I may have been in the comments of that video. One of my friends, he's the one that kind of turned me on to that yard. He's talked to the owner over the years, and he's an older fellow. He's a real friendly guy, and he walks with a cane, but he had been there since the 50s. And the EPA, at some point in time, has been on him ever since. And I guess they came to the conclusion that when he passes away, then within a year of that, the day of him dying, it has to get cleaned up. All that has to come out and get scrapped out or whatever. It needs to be cleaned up. So, like I said, he is older, so you can make your own assumptions about that. So, my plan is just to frequent it, and he actually is enjoyable to talk to. Like sometimes junkyard people traditionally they're very they always have a suspicious nature about them, whether it be towards you or themselves. But he's very kicked back, and he kind of knows what he has, but he gives you good prices, and it's actually a very enjoyable trip. So I mean, in 5 years, it could be completely gone, all of that, every bit of it. And I only videoed maybe a quarter of it. So, we did some more video yesterday. You see a little bit of the new stuff, and like I said, I'll make sure I'll add that on the next video as a part of the steering box installation, cleanup, and all that. But if I go back again, I'll try to film some more stuff because it's definitely cool. It's really neat to see. There's a handful of 55 through 57 Chevys in there. You know, most of them are just gone, but it's just weird seeing some of those cars. And my brother was really excited to see I think they call it the 5-window Chevy truck. It's got the windows and the quarters, the back quarters of the cab, like maybe a 52 or 3, something like that, 3100 series. And there was 2 of them right together. And he saw the first one and said, "This is a really rare truck. You don't see these, and they're worth some money." I said, "Well, there's one right next to it." And then there was 2 others down the hill. So it was just interesting. Mark, yeah, I think he seems to be, if he's not near 80s, he's got to be in his 80s. Roadkill, what's going on? Glad you joined us. I was thinking I have to do it later to have you on. I wanted to have you in there, but it looks like it's getting late already, so I guess we did it right. All right, we'll be right back. Yeah, I handed him to his sister, and he just lost his mind. Yeah, Mark, we could either arrange that, or if you're ever through Sellersburg, I know it's a little further up, but if you're going up 65 someday, you can stop by here, check out the garage, or like I said, I plan to go to the yard more. He gave me his number. He wants me to call him each time I go out there. That way we know that he's going to be around through the day or whatever. So, maybe we can work something out there. A lot of hill climbing, I know that. And there's briars everywhere. And this is a good time of year to go, since there's no snakes and stuff like that. Rude Mopardu, what's going on, buddy? It's been a while. Been a while to see. There's some people I haven't seen in a while. Some of you I see quite often. It's good to see all of you. Glad you're here to join us tonight. I was talking about junkyards, and I was talking about the channel. Roadkill might go back next week. My neighbor wants to go. He wants to check out some stuff for some Fords. He's got I think a 65 Mustang. And he wants to check out some Ford stuff. I know they got some of those Mustangs there. And yeah, so I'd like to go back next week, grab a few more things that I know I need. And I know I'll see something else. It's like an antique mall outside. That's where I look at it. You're looking for something, but the next time you see something else around it. So yeah, guys, Tails just says he has a new video. Obviously you're seeing it here in the chat. He's got a new video on the Barracuda coming tomorrow, so make sure you check his channel out if you haven't already. Subscribe. He's got some really good, well thought out stuff. And as far as Oldsmobile, yes, there's quite a few Cutlasses there of the varying degrees. There's a lot of 4-doors. There's several wagons. What year is yours? Wasn't it like a 72 or 3? There's quite a handful of the 68 to 72 body style era. And there's a lot of the mid-70s Oldsmobiles and Buicks. There was like a 69 or 68 Cutlass that was very cut up. I was looking at it yesterday. The windows were still in it, but it took me a minute to figure out what it was. When I had to roll the window up in the back to see the real sharp radius in it and realize that it was a Cutlass. Mark, are you thinking Zeller's out there in the English West Fork area? Mike Zeller? '73 to '77. They would probably have some stuff there that was compatible. A lot of the cars I tend to walk past since I'm not into a lot of the bigger GM stuff. Is what a lot of that stuff is. I walked back into a new section. See, I stated in that video, I think, that they had no dusters or later A-body Mopar. But I talked to Kyle. He said, oh, you got to go this way and go over the hill. And it was further back. And sure enough, there was an orange Scamp, a 73 or 4 Dart Sport, and then there was a Duster sitting back there. And I actually got a handful of stuff off of those. Well, they had a few more cars back there, and there was like 74, 75 Monte Carlo, Cutlass Supreme. There was a couple wagons back there. There was a 69 Coronet wagon sitting back there, had a mint hood on it. I was looking at the hood. I'm like, there was nothing wrong with this hood. And it was sitting there ready to take. It was already unbolted. And I'm like, we need to pick this up if nobody else does. Yeah. It was a 70. It was a 75 or a 76 Duster. It looked like it was probably a gold Duster. I got the drip rail trim off of it, which was rotting off on it. Took me about an hour to get it out of the drip rail trim last night in the shop. I was trying to peel it out of there without tearing the trim up. And it had a washer bottle, the wiper washer. It had what looked like a brand new one in it. It wasn't stained. It was original. The motor was rotting off of it, but the actual bottle itself was in great shape. So I grabbed that. And he gave me a bunch of stuff. I got a kick panel out of the Scamp, the black one that was untouched. Some marker lights, power steering, metering valve. What else? There were so many just little clips and all this other stuff, and it was some disc brake shields for somebody had left the disc brake shield. They took the disc brake setup off of that Duster and left the dust shields on it, and they was in perfect shape, just dirty. So I got those. Got some more stuff from the van, like some little trim for the carpet that you put in there. Mine didn't have it, and it was like $40 for all of that stuff, and he only charged me $60 for the gearbox, the steering box. Michael, you're pretty specific on what you want, but I don't see too many 70s. There was a place out here, and if Mark is still with us, he might have been there, but it was called Gert's Auto Salvage, and for years and years, they had a lot of old stuff. And he crushed it about 10 years ago, so. But he had some 70 Dusters. He had a handful of those. Of course, as they got newer, he had more of the 73 and up cars. He had Chevelles. He had Oldsmobiles. I remember a Vista Cruiser in there because I remember the windows on the roof. And he even had a Challenger in there. He had a GTX. Had a Duster 340 body. And he had a 70 Barracuda body. Stuff that I wish I would have gotten, but I just didn't have a place or the money then. So it's all gone now. Yeah, and the thing that kind of aggravated me about Gertz here, about 2 weeks ago, I stopped in and I was trying to get some power steering stuff, saving it up, which was kind of for the van, but now I'm going to save it for the Duster. But they was getting real specific with me about stuff, and then finally I said, "Can we not go down there now?" And she goes, "No, the insurance won't allow us." So yeah, so huge yard, and he even has a section that has old stuff, but that's the problem when you have the insurance getting involved, or they choose the insurance that hammers down on them, because there's a lot of stuff that people won't see in these yards, and then it goes and gets destroyed and crushed and all that. So '78, that was the last year of the big cars, wasn't it? Big, like the big C bodies, basically. Mark, have you been down to 135 Auto Parts at all, or recently? I've been meaning to see if they still let people in there. They still have quite a bit of old stuff the last I saw. They even had stuff back into the 40s as well. It's a little more organized, though. And they used to have a handful of Dusters, dark sports. And I never know what they have with vans or anything. I didn't used to look for them, but I'm kind of curious what they have now. Yeah, 318 will do better mileage. You know, the 360. You know, the good thing about 360 is that it builds like a 318. A lot of the same parts swap over, but you definitely have more torque if you want to go. You know, if you want to go in a hurry. Yeah, and if 135 is still allowing people, then we'll have to do a video of that one too, I guess. If they're okay with that. I remember back around 2000, I went in there and I found a set of sport mirrors, original factory sport mirrors on a 73 Dart Sport. One had the remote cable, the driver's side, and then the other one was just mounted on the door. And nobody even looked like they ever tried to remove them. And I took them off and bought them for 40 bucks. That was one of the best deals I ever had down there. Yeah, and any of you guys, if you're like Roadkill, I know you've talked about visiting sometime. Definitely. I would say if you want to go to the yard, that area out there, and I've said it a few times, my dad said it in the video, you probably don't want to visit it in the middle of the summer or anything like that. You want to get it when the vegetation's down, because there is so much stuff, there's so much brush, and we have copperheads out that way. So something, and, you know, you get the ticks and all that kind of unpleasant stuff too. So if you get up here in the when it's cool, everything's kind of died off a little bit. Closed last April. Wow. Yeah, they're slowly disappearing, all that stuff. So yeah, you might find a rattlesnake. I've never seen one around here, but I know they do exist. They especially in Harrison County when you got the out west a little bit. It's so woodsy. It's just way more likely. February would be a good time. I would rather go on a really cold day. Yesterday was just mildly cold. It was dry though. That was good. I'd rather go on a cold day than go on a hot day and have to fight bushes and possibly getting snapped by something. I'm not a big fan of heat either. Now I used to go to Gertz all the time, but he had a little bit of brush in there, but most of it was cleared out. The way it was in the hills too, but it was much hardly any trees through 90% of the yard. Yep. Yeah, and it's like it's real funny. Like it kind of drives me nuts. Like maybe some of you are the same way. Like Mopar Nut might be, as far as what I know about you guys, the most inclined to be like me, where you want to hoard stuff a little bit. I don't have a big hoard of parts, but at this point, I would, if I had a chance to get a car, like that one parts car that I cut up, yeah, I'm like an Indian, man. I'll take anything and I will file it away and organize it and keep it because we might need it someday. Why let it get destroyed or thrown away? So, because a lot of stuff they're making it again and somebody has to rebuy it new and it costs 3 times as much. So, yeah, it's just that. For instance, I was looking at a 68 Fury yesterday, and I was getting steering valve on a power steering box on it. They're aluminum, and the one I had was busted. So I was getting that off, and while I was putting it in my box to take up front, there was a bunch of the clips that your headlight bezels would attach to, and they're just there. You pop them a little bit, and they will pop out. I took all of them and put them in my pile of stuff to buy, and so it's just stuff like that. It's worth having, and it's a very, 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 very small thing, but it gave me that junkyard. I would go through and start filing away stuff. I would spend the day going through there and finding all the little stuff first, and then the coming weeks we'd start taking big stuff, and I would just file it all away because it's you can get to it obviously better. It's a lot of fun to discover it out there in the field and in the woods like that, but a lot of it's just rotting away. So if you can just break it all down and make it all good use, that's kind of what I like to do if I could. Yeah, Lunar kind of gave me the idea for the one I did, and I kind of like how he walks around. He'll point out things, and this is cool, and that sort of thing. So I like that. So I thought, well, here was my chance to do one. So. Yeah, the government should. I mean, the cars already exist. No, they don't burn clean like some of the stuff, but what it takes to make this newer stuff is crazy. We all know about it takes a lot to mine the lithium to make these newer batteries. If everybody's going to have an electric car, that's a lot of mining, a lot of pollution. But I've talked to some firemen, and actually the fellow down here at the Napa, he talked to some firemen in that town, Charlestown, Indiana, and they said if one of those things catches fire and it gets into the battery and the battery catches fire, it is extremely toxic and it could burn for several days. If even after fighting it'll burn to some degree. So I don't know. It's just a lot of trouble. Does anybody know if Texas Acres still exists? I think it was a Mopar yard. I never dealt with them. They always seemed to be very high, but it was out there in Texas and kind of maybe western Texas, and acres and acres of Mopar. Yes, Joe. Mine is a '72. It was the second year of the B vans, and it's a B200 as well. So you're over in Lawrenceburg. I know where that's at. It's kind of up near Cincinnati. Daily driving. That's awesome. That's what I hope to have mine back to doing. I was telling John earlier, John Trudeau, or is that his name? Is that your name, John? Are you in here? All the names are running together. John Trudell. I'm sorry. I told him in one of the videos in the comment section that I'm aiming towards March to have it running and driving. And I think probably what parked it was the steering situation, and the steering box having a lot of slop, and then the idler arms being completely shot, as seen in the last video. So we got new arms on it. I got a better box. It's not sloppy at all. Get that in there, and hopefully I also got 2 inner tie rods coming, and then we can hopefully contain the front end of that for now. And then we'll get into the brakes at some point here soon. And I need to put weather strip back on and a windshield. I think it might be workable beyond that. But you all stay tuned and find out. Yes, everything has some sort of emission. Well, John or Joe, I think the idler arms in mine, they looked like it was original. They didn't have any grease fittings in them, and they had where you would have the grease fitting in the middle underneath the stud. They had that real deep crevice in it, and I think that's indicative of the original one. So they are borderline 50 years old. So, but you got the carpet in yours. That's cool. I will probably do a mild shag. It's not going to be too crazy, but yeah, if you want to do a video, you ought to post it up, and I'll link you up to my channel and kind of give some people a perspective on the van. That'd be kind of cool. Or if you're down this way, I'd be glad to do one with you, and we can show it off. Two-tone green. 77. That was pretty much, that was the last year they used everything to streamline through that van, like the dash, the tail lights, a lot of little things. Then 78, they changed the tail lights and the dash. I'm in Sellersburg, so I'm over on I-65. I'm about 10 miles from the Ohio River. Shag tarpon and the tradesman, yeah. But not, I don't like that real long stuff. Like, what do we say, about an inch? That would be nice. It'd be kind of cushy, but not like icky. Yeah, I'm probably 40 miles west of Madison. You go all the way through Madison, down 62, up Highway 3 just a few miles, and then down 403, and then you're in my area then. Nah, we'll do carpet. Mine had a rubber mat originally. Yeah, yeah. The Nashville bombing was pretty well documented, I guess, there in the media. Now, let me show you guys what I got last week. Anybody recognize these? Yep. The 67 Rally Dash. Not my ultimate cup of tea, but it's still a Rally Dash. Yep. 67, so I had the flasher up here. And then up here it doesn't say the switch, on, off, blower. The later ones they had wood grain on the later ones and black down here. So this one needs to be redone, but it's complete. Got the tachometer, and the radio is not cut. That's not a hole, by the way. And it's pretty complete in the back. Wood basketball court for the four of me. Well, when we get into the paint and the whole the visual of the van, you'll see what I have in mind for that. It'll be kind of a 2-in-1 van. It will fit the Duster. You do have to either get the dash frame or you have to cut the dash frame, because on my Duster, or a standard Duster, it only goes from here to about here. But on these, the cut goes a little further, and it's real tight right here. So if you cut it yourself, you have to be really careful. Yeah, and it's a... Actually, this is a 120 mile speedometer. Zoom it in and good enough to see it. Well, you might consult. You might actually, yeah. Tails, you're probably right. It's probably the performance gauge, because it says it's got the power, economy, idle, yeah, performance indicator. So yeah, not technically an attack, but it's the, what you call it, the performance gauge. Yeah. But like I said, it's all there. Remember we talked about some of the pins on the circuit boards? A couple of these need repaired. 1, 2, let's say 3. And I have an idea. We're going to use some brass screws, try to make those work. And plus, I think on the speedometer drive back here on a 67, they screwed on. After that, they clipped on. So if you have to use the speedometer cable, you have to get the 67 cable, order one of those. Yeah. I actually have a tray. It has the different colored pinions that go in the transmission. Go in the little thing, you slip it in there. I can't remember what number it is, like a 27 or... I got that number stamped on it. It's been a while since I looked at it. Yeah, I'll probably use a silver solder on these. And then from the backside, put a real small brass screw so that it'll reinforce it. So, because I feel like if you solder it, it can still get popped and then break out. But if you put a screw in it, kind of puts a like reinforcement in the little shaft there, and then you can really brace it up good. Maybe you can get a better connection as well. But that's it. I got it last week. I didn't pay what you normally would pay for one. I paid a little bit less, which I considered a deal, so I thought I'd grab it. And I don't know. I might have it re-chromed, or I might paint it. We'll think about that in time, and I might do a little different. I probably won't do the silver, but we'll see. Maybe even I can trade it for the later one that has all the accurate stuff. We'll see. But that was my big score last week. So. Yeah, and some of them, tails, you've probably seen them. Some of them are blank. They just have little white circles, kind of. That's all it is, like a filler. Delete, I guess. Yeah, and that dash on tails, that looked great. I remember you kind of refinished that, and it looked really cool. Really top notch. Molotov pin silver. You know, Mopar, I know you're in the models. I used to get the Tester silver paint pen. I would do the tail light lenses on the dusters and highlight the little ovals on them and the side markers. I used to do a lot of stuff, and because I got a pretty steady hand, so I would do them and make them look pretty good. So I need to look that up. I can't. It seemed like the whole side of that thing gets chrome, but other than that, that would probably work good if it looked anything like bright, shiny chrome. Which leads me to another project that you guys might be interested in. On my van, the 71 through 73 Dodge vans, they were similar to the trucks, where they had an aluminum grill, or the bright grill, what you might call it. But then basic models, like mine, had this exact same grill, but it was steel. It was a little heavier, obviously, but it was a stamped grill. And mine is like in perfect shape, other than just needing stripped. Needs the rust taken off of it. But I like the look of the chrome or the brushed aluminum grill. So I noticed Eastwood has a powder coat that is considered a like enduro chrome or something. It's not quite what you would get from chrome with the mirror-like image, but you could. It's way better than a spray paint chrome, which is just nonsense. But in the reviews of it, you can actually see your reflection in it. So I'm thinking of making a small, well, I say small, but big enough to put a grill on, so at least 6 feet long, and my front and rear bumpers in, and then we could powder coat it, and I'm going to set up basically a powder coating cell, so you can put that stuff in, isolate it to just that section. You can obviously do smaller parts than that, but I have a big piece of HVAC ducting and some insulation we can wrap around it and put some torpedo heaters in it. And that was per my friend Kevin, who I used to work with at Snap-on Tools, and they had a powder coat oven, and he kind of suggested that. One moment, I got a call here. Hello. Okay, can she text you? I'll have her text her, and I'll text you mine. Okay. Uh-huh. Bye. Dinner. Michael, you talk about the wood grain, like basically like a Formica laminate. Yes, we've done some of the stuff like that. Yeah, the powder coating. I'm kind of interested to try that. The grill, I would really like to try, but there's part of me that thinks I can find the aluminum grill. I mean, I always run into them on the internet that are intact. But I would kind of like to do this one and see how it looks. But at least my bumpers, I want they're in perfect shape. They're not bent or rusted. I'd like to at least make them look chrome. And yeah, well, roadkill. What I'm talking about is like there is a. I got a piece of HVAC tube, and it's like literally maybe 1.5 feet in diameter, and it's about 7 or 8 feet long. My neighbor, he works in HVAC, and he brought it home to me one day because I asked him, I said, "You ever get that tube, bring it home. I'll take it," because they usually trash it, junk it. So I have it setting out back, and I have to basically just kind of encapsulate the ends. I'm going to cut a door out of it. We can hinge, and you can close it, and you wrap it in insulation and put it on some stands, and basically run 2 torpedo heaters into it when you want to bake something on. And then you're just making a large oven. You're just making a large space for you to be able to put something the length of a bumper on or in. And if you want to do little stuff, obviously you just hang them inside of there and do it all at once. Right, yeah. So it'll be a homemade one. And if I do start doing it, I get a plan together, getting down to doing that all that stuff, hopefully in the next couple of months, I will be doing it all here on the Hoosier Garage in the video. In 1 minute, I'll be right back. Yeah, and one of the other guys I used to work with, he does some powder coating too, and he does what you said, Mopar nut, where you have it this one because does a lot of small stuff. But when it gets into the big things, you need a bigger area. Yeah, you just have to achieve a certain temperature, and for I don't know, I think 25 minutes, if that. He gave me the kind of he did the draw out of it, and I'll have to kind of refresh and look at it, but it doesn't take too much. I was thinking I needed something bigger, but he said no, you won't need as much as you're thinking. He said 1 torpedo heater could do it. He said but 2 definitely would do it. Yeah, and what? Actually, the one that has it is Dale from has the Chevy race truck. He just has an old. Actually, it was an oven out of his house, I think, and he puts little stuff in there and bakes it. And he just went and bought a new oven for the house. And then it was the guy we worked with is the one that wrote out the plan to do one here at home. You're just basically changing the shape. You're doing the same concept, just changing the shape and insulating it. No, you get a household oven works. I mean, if you're not doing something big, if you're doing little, brackets and stuff like that, some cases wheels, you can get a one that was working in your house, and it's all got the gauge on it and everything. Because all you're really wanting to achieve is like an oven heat for several minutes, and that bakes it on. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like even this one I have planned, you could, as long as you can slip it inside of there easy, which if I make the door wide enough, no problem. And some nice supports. Yeah, you could set a rear end in there and paint a nice black powder coat on there and take it on. Because I mean, the width of that, the same as the bumper, it's all in that same. It's no wider than a grill, so or taller. Yeah, yeah. You never want to powder coat in a currently food used oven. Now, I've never heard anything about a gas oven being bad, but I mean, as long as you dispense the fumes before you stick it in there, obviously, that's a big thing. Yeah, unless you go for that super 70s look. A lot of them they painted them white back in the 70s. They paint the rear end white, and I've seen some of them painted orange, which I think black. And if you wanted to put a chrome cover on it, that was cool. A little more subtle. Aluminum covers look good. Some of the covers, the way they have the bolts in them, like they make structural covers. What I ought to do is you say bake off video series. Um, what would be funny and do like a parody where I have it all built and everything, and we go to put the parts in there, and then I'm wearing one of those aprons that has all the ruffles and the kiss to cook or something stupid like that on it. Just make a big kind of a satire joke out of it. Yeah, just somebody comes along and puts their hand in somewhere where they will obviously get it burned off, smack it with a spoon or something like that. But everything else is like real serious technically. Gold. Yeah, gasser. Yeah, I was gonna say when they paint the whole underneath white, usually jack it up real. Yeah, and I don't have anything. Well, I mean, I could do a burnout in the Camaro, but who cares? And apparently, did the burnout challenge come from zip ties and bias plies? Do you know I've never watched one of those videos? I've heard about him for years, but I've never watched it. So if you see anything that seems like I'm doing that he does, it's purely by coincidence. GG1 green. Was that the really light green? Yeah, Lunar is an electrician. He can hook you up with everything, and it would not burn the whole video down. Real dark. But I was thinking if it was really, really dark green, then the gold would look okay with it. I still wouldn't like it. But it would look better than like either sublime green or the light pea green, or you know. John Covert, how you doing? From Southern California. Over the top. I guess I ought to check one of my, because it always sounds like everything is extreme, like it's maybe sensory overload for me. But maybe I'll check it out and see what I think. Well, you know what Mopar color that's actually I think is really underrated is, and you might have to be year specific on this. And with that caveat, I'll say 1974 Sherwood metallic green, and it might even be dark Sherwood metallic green. I want to say it was F8 green. That is a pretty color when it is fresh. I had my first car ever was a 74 Duster, and it was that green, and it was all oxidized. It had been sitting out in the sun, rain, all this stuff. And my dad said, you got to buff it out and see how that paint looks. And I did, and it had a lot of that gold sparkle in it, but it also had almost like a blue tint to it. It was a really neat color. And part of me wants a car that color again. Yeah, it's a lot like Uncle Tony's Duster. So when you said that dark green, it made me think of that 74 Sherwood metallic. Now there was a light Sherwood, which is like the color of the Duster was originally that Mitch, that I think your brother had under all that white paint. But no, this is like the dark color. Awesome, John. I appreciate you watching, and love hearing from everybody that does watch the videos and whatever they feel about it or whatever they learn or any hearing that. So, thanks for sharing. My wife actually, her family, I think they had a Chevy when he was growing up back in the 80s. It was kind of a conversion style van. You see those everywhere. And this van, she's not real, mechanically or into cars or anything, but it reminds her of the vans they had back when she was growing up. So she kind of has a soft spot for it. There's so many green Mopars. Like actually, my friend, I've been kind of Moparing around with him for 20 years. His son bought a 72 Satellite, his first car, and it was slant six, but it was green, black interior. And then he wanted a GTX of the same body style, so he found a 71. Well, it was green with green interior. Well, it had a lot of problems, though. He sold it to somebody that was going to restore it, and he found another GTX 71, but it was a 4-speed 440 car with a Dana 60 354 gear rear in it. It was green, and I had a Dart that was green, and his son painted his car yellow. But we kept finding green cars too. Everything was green, 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 green. My first car at 74, green with green interior. It was just over the top green. Petty blue, no. Well, probably, you know, Tony's Duster is obviously going to be, it's got a different track. He'll even tell you it's like this Lank 6 thing. Just a good driver. But, mine is just kind of beyond all that, and it's whatever you want to, it's whatever you want it to be. You can't really feel bad about what you're going to do to it. Because anything's an improvement at this point. The floor's rotted out, the trunk's rotted out, the tail panel's rotted out, the quarters are rotted, everything's rotted out on it, pretty much in the back part of it. So my big thing is detail. So you will probably either go nuts or you'll enjoy the level of detail of me making things certain colors and cleaning up certain things and trying to get a nice clean look, at least as much as possible. But I do like I like to have them nice, but I can't do the things that these rich guys do with their cars. But I try to do it as accurate as I can to make it nice and corrosion resistant. That's it. Mm-hmm. And I've been thinking about the Duster lately. Um, I had a '73 that I painted purple, and it was originally a gold car. But at the time, I was like, "This is going to be my." I always wanted a plum crazy purple car, and that ended up being it. And of course, stuff kind of happened when I had that, and I sold it, and then I got this one when I got in the van. I thought I was getting the Mopar bug again. I was like, I need to get me a Duster because I felt like they were slipping away. So I got that one, and I asked my wife, "What color would you like?" Well, she likes the purple, and she wasn't around so much when I had my other one. So we'll probably have another purple. Not solid on that, but it's leaning towards it. I can't. I haven't been able to figure out what kind of stripe I'd want it. I usually do a stripe of some sort, but I'm honestly thinking on this 72, I would put the stripe on the back tail panel, be it black or white if I do purple. But along the sides, I might actually just do the side molding that went down the middle, it looks like chrome and has the black bumper in the middle, and just be like a clean looking car that way, and have all the other bells and whistles. Just be subtle but clean. So I'm seriously thinking I've never done one like that. Usually, if anything, we pulled all that stuff off. So it's in the air. Mopar, no, that's funny. I know of a place, and it might even still be sitting there, of a 71 or 72 Charger. It was sitting in this yard off this dead end road, sitting on blocks, no wheels, and it looked like nature had just kind of built on top of it. It had moss all over it, and I'm always curious if it's still there. To go down the road that it was on, like you kind of have to have business down that road. So we used to drop off things at a house down there when I worked with somebody else, and I would see it. And they also had a Valiant at the time, and that was 15 years ago. But I almost feel like it would still be sitting there. Yeah, yeah. Certain things blacked out, like a stripe on the hood or like the twister stripe or whatever. I might do something like that. with not having a hood, I can go different ways. And it kind of sucked yesterday when I was at that junkyard. I saw that 72 Scamp. Well, the hood on that would interchange with the Duster, but the hood was not on it. So that must be a hood to have. So we'll have to figure that out. I'd like to have a dual scoop hood, like a factory, but we'll worry about that when we get there. Well, Michael, when you have any time you have a bright color like that, white tends to look dirty because white is white. You know, it's like a white shirt. But when you have bright colors like that, it usually kind of repels the look of dirt. Good for maintenance, I guess. Now I had that when I had the '74 Challenger. It was B5 blue, and it was like, you know, B5 blue isn't a dark blue and it's not a light blue. That was always pretty good with dirt because it could be really dusty and you couldn't tell from when it was really clean. Roadkill, that makes me think you say that Z28. The blue one that I had, the 81, there's one not far from me, about 5 miles away, sitting in somebody's driveway, and it's got all kinds of stuff stacked up on it. But you can tell it's a Z28. It's got the scoops, the spoilers, the grill, and it's been there for several years. When I was building mine, I saw it sitting there, and it caught my eye. And I was about there maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I saw it still collecting stuff on it. Dual snorkel scoop, yep. I like those. I had one that I put on a 74 dart, and the guy that I bought it from did not mount it properly. He just like stuck screws in it from underneath, and it flew off one day. He was going like 45 miles an hour down the street, and it just picked up and flew off, and it hit the light pole and broke the back corner off of it. Well, he said, I give up on it. I don't know what to do with it. So he just sold it to me for like $45 with the broken piece, and I reglassed it, repainted it, got the right studs and fiberglassed them in, and then got nuts and washers, put them under the hood, and it never moved. '74 Challenger Rally, yeah, mine was a '74. It was a 318 car. I put a 360 and kind of made a rally out of it, but I put a 6-pack hood scoop on it, and I had the rakes on the sides with the stroke stripes. Fun car. Mitch, probably the junkyard you're thinking of on is the one I spoke about earlier. It's in English, West Fork, Indiana, which is near Marengo in that same county. If you look up Mike's Used Auto Parts in English, Indiana, look it up on Google Maps. You will see he's out in the middle of nowhere, and it's crazy. He's got some stuff up there, though. He's got a lot of Mopar. At least he did when I was there. I was there about 10 years ago, but I'm told he still has a lot of stuff. I need to visit again. He was just very possessive of what he had, though. Purple E-body. Yeah, there's just something about a purple E-body. Fiberglass floor. Yeah, Mitch. If you can't find through Mike's Used Auto Park, it's on Zeller Road, and it would be listed as an English address, and you could pull it up that way. And if you go out Highway 64 to the west, I think about 30 or 40 minutes out of Louisville. Yeah, where Mark says, where the trusty tire started. Got 64, get off of exit there, you go up Equity Road, I think, and then Zeller Road, which goes up a hill, like a gravel road, up a hill in the woods. It like you don't know where you're going, and it goes up there for about a mile, and then just boom, there's cars everywhere. There's Cudas and Chargers and everything. So he really likes the Coke bottle Chargers, 71 through 74. So Mopar Nut might have to come out here and visit. So, because apparently he has several of those that he's trying to fix. So. Yeah, Tails. I had to get some not aftermarket, but used. They usually call them rakes, R-A-K-E-S. You just call them fender rakes, and sometimes if people put scoops, they can't find them. But if you put fender rakes, because they just look like a big rake, you can usually find them that way. And I think you just got to make sure they have the studs and the retainers on the back of them. So if you ever get one of those and you want to put those on, and they had the plastic inserts in the back of them too, so watch for those. Baldwin Motion clone. The Baldwin Motion clone cars, the 70 Camaros, are really cool. They got a nice stripe. They got nice offset wheels. They got the L88 hood on them. They set up nice. And what, they have 454s in them. Well, what I like, I encourage people, if you want to go to a junkyard, I'm all for it. I like going with other people, especially to junkyards that are maybe a little unfamiliar, because you get out in these areas and you don't know who to trust sometimes, and it's just, they're weird sometimes. First time I went to Zeller's, I made sure to go have somebody with me, because it just was up there. It's such a weird place. Many people would say, oh, it's like Deliverance, It came out good, but it's just, you don't know. It's so different. And Mitch, those two Rally Challengers, whatever condition they was in then, was probably quite fixable now, unless you have a story on them. Olds W30. Well, let's see. If I had the Camaro for about 6 years there, 81. That's kind of a unusual year. I like the stripes on them and the spoilers, but when I got done with the car, I didn't particularly care for it a lot. But I like those. If I was into Fords, I would probably not be into Mustangs. Me being different at everything, for one, liking Mopars makes you different. But if I was into Fords, I would not be just the run-of-the-mill Mustang guy. I would like Torinos, and I would like Mavericks. I think a really cool Maverick to have would be like a 70 through 70, I guess 3 or 4, before they put the big bumpers on them, the little small bumpers. Maybe 73. 70 through 73 Grabber with a 351 in it. And like Grabber blue, or maybe even one of the earth tone colors. It would be kind of cool. And then I had a friend who had a 75 Gran Torino 2-door. And he was going to do Starsky and Hutch, but he had like drug issues, and he ended up selling it. But I found the car for him, paid $1,000 for it. It had a 351 Windsor in it, and we put a new timing chain on it, water pump, starter, and that thing just it started good, cruised, got the slop out of it, and it was just a nice car, and it looked good. I thought, man, if we get this thing painted, and what he was going to do was, instead of paint the Starsky and Hutch colors, the red and white, he was going to do like blue, like a metallic blue, like a B5 blue Mopar color, with the white stripe and the little black pinstripe, and then the slotted mag. It would look really cool and really different. A hog lot and ate all the foam. That's, yum yum. I'm going to hang around for another minute. It's almost supper time, and I probably need to go grab the boy because he's been fussing for a bit. Sissy's probably not real content with him right now. Those old Cougars are cool. With what was that? The first car that had the sequential tail lights on them? It's like a really upscale Mustang. Comet GT, yeah, that's a lot like a Maverick. Sounds good, Mo Parnett. Yeah, you all take care, and if you want to do another chat like this, we can do one tomorrow. I don't think I've got anything going. I mean, I know it's going to be New Year's Eve, but if we like the group we got going on, we can have another chat tomorrow. Just leave a message in here or whatever. We'll set up a time, or tell me what time you ideally would if you do want to have another chat. But I'm going to jump off here, help with the son, the baby, and get something to eat. And hopefully we can get another video cranked out this weekend. It'll be the steering box for the van. And you can see some more of the junkyard stuff then. I'll put that video in. So y'all take care, and hopefully see y'all again soon. You take care.